the Kawaii Twin, and today's video I'm going to be telling you guys my top 5 favorite things about living in Japan. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Like many of you guys may or may not already know, I was fortunate enough to be able to live and study in Japan last year. Right out of high school, it was an amazing experience, and there were a couple things that I absolutely loved about Japan that I want to share with you guys in this video today. So the first thing I want to be talking to you guys about is konbinis. Konbinis are convenience stores, and just like the name says, they are super convenient. You can find a konbini almost on every block. I remember I used to live in Japan. I had like my own apartment and everything, and I think there was a konbini like 5 minutes away from where I lived. It was so convenient. There was 2 in like the area, so I could really choose. There was a Lawson's, there was a Family Mart, there was a 7-Eleven, and they were super close to one another. At konbinis, they sell a lot of Western foods such as sandwiches. They have a large variety of different sandwiches. They have the egg sandwich, they have your typical ham sandwich. They just have a large selection of those, and it was my mom's favorite because she's not really into like fish, so it was definitely a very good meal, and the food is really inexpensive. They also have a large selection of onigiri, which are rice balls filled with, it can be fish, it can be, sometimes it's nothing inside if you're more vegetarian. They have a large selection of different things that you can choose from, and it's really good. Also, if you don't want to eat white rice, they also have brown rice rice balls, which is really good, and they were amazing. It's really great. As soon as you get inside, they just have a large selection of each item. So a large selection of rice balls, large selection of sandwiches, a large selection of chips and ramen. Just so many different things that you can go there. Things about going to konbinis were the special desserts they had. So depending on the season, so Japan is kind of well known for really appreciating the seasons. So when I came to Japan for the first time, it was during April time, just because like for me, since I was going to study at a Japanese university, schools in Japan start in April. The spring semester starts in April, and that's kind of different from the US. The sakura season was in full bloom. The sakura were blooming everywhere, and like I said, Japanese people are very into their season, so there were a lot of sakura themed foods. I actually ended up getting this sakura bun, I'd call it. So it was like a pink bun filled with red bean paste, and it was really good. It was just kind of like an interesting dessert, interesting like treat that I got to eat that is only available during the sakura season. Another really great thing about konbinis is that you can actually pay your bills there. So when me and my twin sister were living in Japan, we would always go to the konbini and pay our water bill and our electricity bill right at the konbini. It was super easy to do, and it was so convenient. When we were in Japan, we also had a lot of essays that we had to do, and teachers wanted it to be printed out, so I would go to a konbini and I would print my stuff out. They have the instructions in English, and it's super easy to follow. I think you only have to pay like $1, well, it's 100 yen, which is I think around $1, maybe a little bit less than that. And yeah, you can print out some papers and some stuff, and it's so convenient. There's so many things you can do at the konbini. So konbini is by far one of my favorite things about Japan. The next thing I want to talk about Japan that I absolutely loved was the public transportation. So it's very common in the US to drive, but in Japan, at least in Tokyo area, it's really common to use the train system to get to places, and honestly it was so convenient. I was really worried before coming to Japan that it would be super confusing to use, but it actually wasn't. I used Google Maps, and I know that a lot of natives as well don't just, you know, use the train without looking at a certain map. I know there's certain apps that are in Japanese that Japanese people use, but you can also use Google Maps if you don't speak Japanese, which is what I did. Yeah, you can definitely use Google Maps, and it's super easy to follow. You can get to any location that you want to get to in Tokyo area. They're so convenient, they're so fast as well. I remember I wanted to get to a location where I was living in to Harajuku, and it was going to take about 1 hour to 45 minutes, and it was just so fast to get there. I found it to be so easy, and honestly in that first week I got the hang of it. So if you guys are worried about that, if you guys are planning to travel to Japan or live in Japan, don't worry about the train system. It's actually quite simple to follow. Next thing I want to talk about is just the people. Japanese people are so sweet and very willing to help. There were many times that I got lost in the train system. Well, me and my sister got lost, and we were just so worried because it was our first time living on our own in a different country. We asked a group of Japanese girls if they could help us out, and they were super willing to help us out to get to our destination. It was kind of late, and we were pretty scared, to be honest, but they were super sweet and very willing to help lead us the right way. I know that if you guys go to Japan, you might be afraid of using the train system. Like I said, I absolutely love using the train system, but at first I was a little bit confused. Don't feel afraid to ask a Japanese person. They're definitely going to be very willing to help. I never experienced a moment where someone didn't want to help me or they were just ignoring me. They were always very, very willing to help me and my sister get to our destination, so don't worry about it. They're very, very polite. Now, I also was going to Japan as a student. I was going to study at a Japanese university, and I was really worried that I wasn't going to be making any friends. A lot of the Japanese students were very willing to come up to me, to talk to me. A lot of them spoke English as well because of the school that I went to. I think it was kind of like an international school, sort of. A lot of foreign students would go there, so at least for my program, the students need to speak English. And a lot of them came up to me, and they were just, like I said, very, very willing to speak to me. A lot of them spoke in English. I made a lot of really great friends like Miyabi and Momoko and just a bunch of other people. I think I've talked about those two girls in this channel as well. They sent me a couple goodies from Japan. I think I did a video on trying Japanese snacks. So one of my friends, she sent me a couple stuff. So yeah, they were just super sweet. They were very, very sweet. I took some classes that were just fully in Japanese. They were super helpful in translating a lot of the Japanese phrases or what the Japanese teacher would say into English, which was super helpful. And they're just really close friends that I still talk to today, which I hope to meet them again when I come back to Japan. So like I said, don't feel afraid, don't feel frightened to talk to someone. If you need help, they are definitely very willing to help. Next thing we talked to you guys about are shops in Japan. So there's a lot of shops in Tokyo specifically that are super aesthetic. I went to a shop that was kind of, I think it was called Chukra, and it's kind of a Korean, I think it was a Korean brand shop that had just arrived in Japan. I think it was like a collaboration with like the brand Chew, and they sold so many cute items. The changing room was adorable. There was like a whole section where you can buy like snacks, and it was like all Korean snacks, and it was just so cute the way it was like organized, the way they like, I don't know, the setup of the store was so cute. I also went to Wigo, and also they had a very similar setup. The store is a lot bigger, and they had like I think 3 different shops in Harajuku alone. It's a really popular shop, and it's just so cute. I went through like Shinjuku because that's where I was staying at for the first week at a hotel. There was just a lot of individual shops, even cafes that were very aesthetic. They kind of have their own theme as well, and it's just super pretty. I just think it was really pretty. I love how like in-depth the interior design and the aesthetic of each shop are. I feel like these brands just do a really good job at advertising their items, and it makes you want to buy all the things that they have. And I just love how colorful it is, especially in Harajuku, which is one of my favorite places to shop at. There was a lot of bright colors, and the way they advertise their items was just amazing. It definitely was one of my favorite things about living in Japan. Next thing I want to talk about that I absolutely loved about living in Japan was just Japan's natural beauty. I really liked that there was this combination between the modern aspects of Japan. Like if you go to Harajuku, it's just super modern. There's like these really cool shops that you can go to, but then you go to Meiji Shrine, which is super close to Harajuku, and it's just so traditional. You see a lot of traditional aspects of Japan. You get to go to this shrine, and I just think it's so beautiful. In Japan in general, it's just a really beautiful country. Me and my sister would often go shopping after school to get like groceries and stuff like that, and we would take a lot of pictures just in the streets of Japan. It was just so beautiful. I'll put a picture around here so you guys can see. But you see how beautiful Japan is. Even just the buildings, you can see how it's very Japanese style like architecture. I just find it to be so beautiful, and it was just definitely one of my favorite parts of just being in Japan. There was just this beautiful park that we would go walking around sometimes, and it was just so beautiful. Like I said, Japan is just such a beautiful country, and it's really clean. Definitely one of my favorite parts about Japan. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you guys like these videos, you guys want to see more Japan related content, and don't forget to follow us at Cute Futago on our Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye guys!